Media researchers and analysts have carefully studied Bigi Jackson's first real interview, and what he said has left them shocked. For years, Michael Jackson's youngest son remained almost completely silent. While Prince and Paris occasionally stepped into the spotlight, Bigi chose privacy above all else. But in this rare, candid, and deeply emotional conversation, the now adult Bigi opened up about his father in a way that no one expected. His words were quiet, measured, reflective, and profoundly revealing. They have forced many researchers, journalists, and fans to rethink everything they believed about Michael Jackson's final years, his parenting style, his fears, and the things he desperately tried to hide from his children. Bigi Jackson, born Prince Michael Jackson II in 2002, was only 7 years old when his father suddenly died on June 25, 2009. He grew up known to the world as Blanket, the child Michael famously dangled from a hotel balcony in Germany in 2002, a moment that became one of the most criticized and misunderstood images of Michael's life. For most of his childhood and teenage years, Bigi stayed away from the public eye. That long silence made his first extended interview all the more powerful and significant. Researchers who analyzed the conversation in detail say Bigi's statements were not carefully scripted or PR managed. They were raw, honest, reflective, and at times heartbreaking. He spoke not as the son of a global icon, but as a son remembering his father. In the interview, Bigi spoke directly about his memories of Michael. He described his father not as the controversial king of pop, but simply as Dad. He remembered a man who was playful, protective, and deeply afraid for his children's safety. Bigi recalled how his father would check doors and windows multiple times at night. He would look outside and tell the children to stay away from certain areas. He was always worried, Bigi said. He told us the world was not safe for us, and that he had to protect us from things we couldn't understand yet. These were not casual comments. They were the words of a father who lived with genuine, persistent fear. What shocked analysts most was Bigi's description of his father's emotional state in the months leading up to his death. Michael was preparing for the This Is It comeback tour. On the surface, he was professional and determined, but privately, according to Bigi, his father was terrified. He repeatedly told his children that he loved them more than anything, and that if anything happened to him, they should remember how much he cared. Bigi said his father seemed exhausted, but focused on finishing the tour so he could secure their future. He was scared, Bigi revealed. He tried to hide it from us, but I could feel it. Researchers noted how Bigi's words aligned with other evidence from that period. Colleagues have described Michael as increasingly paranoid and fearful in 2009. He believed powerful people stood to gain from his death. He updated his will and made arrangements to protect his children. Bigi's memories add the deeply personal layer, a father who was physically weakened, emotionally drained, and genuinely afraid he would not survive. Bigi also spoke about what his father hid from him and his siblings their entire lives. Michael went to extreme lengths to shield his children from the outside world. The masks and disguises they wore in public were not strange fashion choices. They were his father's way of giving them some freedom. He wanted us to be able to go out and play without being chased by cameras, Bigi explained. He said the world was too cruel, and he didn't want us to grow up feeling watched every second. Neverland Ranch was the ultimate expression of this protection. Bigi remembered the amusement rides, the animals, the movie nights, and his father playing with them like a big kid himself. Michael created a fantasy world because he wanted his children to have the joyful, innocent childhood he felt had been stolen from him. Bigi said his father worked hard to keep the outside negativity away so they could just be kids. The interview also touched on Michael's health. Bigi confirmed what medical records and DNA evidence have shown. His father was in constant pain from vitiligo and lupus. He remembered seeing his father apply creams and take medication. Michael tried to hide the pain so his children wouldn't worry. He wanted us to see him as strong, Bigi said softly, but I knew he was hurting a lot. Analysts were struck by Bigi's maturity and emotional intelligence. At a young age, he seemed to understand his father's protective instincts. He defended Michael not with anger, but with quiet conviction. My father was the gentlest person I knew, Bigi stated. He loved children because he never got to be one. He wanted to give us and other kids the childhood he missed. Bigi also addressed the rumors and accusations that followed his father. He grew up knowing there were dark stories, but he never believed them because he knew the man who raised him. He described his father as kind, creative, and loving. The interview humanized Michael in a way few other accounts have done. Researchers studying the interview noted how Bigi's words aligned with the DNA evidence. Michael's genetic profile shows clear markers for autoimmune diseases. The combination of inherited vulnerabilities and decades of extreme stress created a body that was breaking down. Bigi's memories add the human context, a father fighting invisible battles while trying to be present for his children. The interview has forced many to reconsider the dominant narrative around Michael Jackson. For years, the focus was on scandals and eccentricities. Bigi's words return the focus to the father, a man who was flawed, in pain, and deeply protective of his children. Bigi spoke about life after his father's death. The transition was difficult. Losing Michael at age 7 left a permanent mark. He described the grief, the confusion, and the pressure of carrying the Jackson name. The family tried to shield the children, but the outside world was relentless. Biggie chose privacy because he wanted to honor his father's wish for them to have as normal a life as possible. What shocked analysts most was the simplicity and honesty of Biggie's words. He did not defend his father with grand statements or anger. He spoke from memory and love. "He was a good dad," Biggie said. Those 4 words carried enormous weight. The interview is a powerful reminder that behind the music, the fame, the controversies, and the DNA revelations was a father who loved his children deeply and tried to protect them until his last breath. Bigi Jackson's first interview may be one of the most important pieces of the puzzle in understanding who Michael Jackson really was. Michael Jackson's DNA profile revealed the biological war he was fighting. Biggie's words reveal the emotional war his father fought every single day. Together, they paint a picture of a man who was far more complex, far more loving, and far more human than the world allowed him to be. Biggie's interview also highlighted the lasting impact of Michael's protective nature. Even after his death, the children felt the weight of his love and his fears. Biggie described how the family tried to maintain some normalcy while dealing with the immense public interest. He spoke about the challenges of growing up with the Jackson name and the constant comparisons to their father, yet he also expressed gratitude for the love and the memories he has. Researchers have noted that Biggie's perspective provides a unique window into Michael's private world. Unlike Prince and Paris, who were older when Michael died, Biggie's memories are from a younger, more innocent viewpoint. His words carry a purity that cuts through years of noise and speculation. The interview has sparked new discussions about Michael's parenting. Many analysts now see his actions, the masks, the seclusion, the creation of Neverland, not as eccentricity, but as a father's desperate attempt to give his children the innocence he never had. Biggie's honest reflections support this view. As Biggie continues to navigate adulthood, his first interview stands as a testament to the bond he shared with his father. It humanizes Michael Jackson in a way that DNA evidence and medical records alone cannot. It reminds us that behind the legend was a man who was simply trying to be a good dad. The world may never fully agree on Michael Jackson's legacy, but Biggie's words offer a perspective that is hard to ignore. They show a father who loved fiercely, protected fiercely, and tried to shield his children from a world he knew could be cruel. In the end, Biggie's interview shocked analysts because it was simple, honest, and heartfelt. It cut through years of controversy and returned the focus to what mattered most to Michael Jackson, his children.